Well, hello there, everybody. I have to hit that button there. Otherwise, I really will be in a time loop. Like hearing yourself when what I already said that. But anyway, it is Friday. Let me bring this a little bit closer. Yeah, there, that's a change. Sounds good now, Steiger. We can hear you. Cool, cool, cool. Well, again, welcome. Thank you for being a part of this journey. I trust all is well with you on this fine, fine day. And it's a fine day as I go up there, and now I'm here. So are you. So thank you. Honored to have you here. I appreciate that. It's hey, listen, you have a lot of places you can go. And so it is with deep appreciation and gratitude. Thank you for being a part of this. You make my life a whole lot fuller, and I trust that I reciprocate in kind. Party on now, Garth. So welcome. Speak in favor over us. Nothing missing, nothing broken. It's a reality. It is perfection. It is a goal. So nothing wrong with that. Be of service to others. Basto, baby. That's all I got to say. And hello, chat room. Pin Greedy, how are you? Brian, how you doing? Scotty boy, good to see you. Deborah, hello. Good to see you as well. Joyce, hello. The rest of everybody. And I think that's working as he goes over here. Let's see. Do. Well, I think I had it better over here. There we go. Yeah, I've been out working in the yard all day, all morning. Yeah, love it. Kind of gets you just I don't know, it's good meditation time. I like riding the tractor lawnmower that we have, and it's good meditating time. I mean, you're just out there in nature and feeling the sun and seeing nature in action. And here you are making a little tiny part of a paradise in the midst of, wilderness, deep forest that is loaded with stuff that, you just don't even want to think about. Poison oak is one. Lots of that, though I'm doing my best to get rid of it. So how is everybody? Scotty boy. I don't know if that is working or not. Let me see. Well, apparently I'm not getting a live feed on that. Imagine that. Well, that really technology, it's just there to mess with you. So I can't see the chat room in real time. So, just say hey where I can, and the rest of it we'll just let it ride. Yeah. There we are. I'm over in this one and it's there. So cool. So what are y'all up to? You know that the year is approaching the halfway mark. I don't know. And I know it's just not me. There's something happening. I mean, now I get it when, as you spend more days here, the perception is that things speed up because, well, you're pretty much used to everything. Think about it. If you got a birthday, anniversary, a day that has significant, parent passing over a friend. And, as you continue to go down the path of life in this realm, how many new things do you put into your life? I will say this, that the journey that I am on is fantastic. There isn't anything I would give for it. I mean, It's cool. I don't have very many answers. Not even sure if I have any answers, but I know this, that struggle, that constant turmoil of, the indoctrination, good, evil, bad, punishment, guilt, oh, bad. And the vicious cycle that breeds. It's quiet now. For me, it's quiet. Not a bad place, And then your thoughts, are kind of like, I don't know if liberated is the right term, but there is a certain freedom, I think that I can say this, that the balance, understanding that if you have balance, it means that you have both counterweight that keeps the teeter-totter balanced, right? Because if you have nothing, then what? Gravity something's got to keep the equal force, right? Deep stuff. That's all I can say. Man, that's deep stuff. Yeah, it is deep stuff. I gotta love it. So what is happening, folks? Lost in Space, good to see you. Shirley, what's up? Cajun Queen, how are you, my dear? Haven't seen you in a month of Sundays. I hope you're doing well, Lois. Hope that life is continuing to provide the stimulation and fulfillment. That's what it's about. There's Mr. Robert V. Sabella, good to see you. Hello. Rick, what's up, brother? Jargo, hello as well. Go, what's doing? I think Penn Greedy, good to see you as well. William, good to see ya. And John Price, what's up, brother? Grace, how you doing? Love the email, thank you. S. Lee, good to see you as well. You see, there's a lot of people that apparently work out there. Loretta, what's up? I tell you what, that fresh air. Well, when you're on a gasoline turbine engine, that'll stir up a lot of dust. But there's just enough that you have what I call this free zone, no chiggers, none of that shit, boy. Had enough of that last year. And so yeah, gonna get the old golf clubs out there and do a little chipping and a little putting. Why not? Robert, you says, planted my corn last night just before the rainstorm. Well, timing is everything in life. Indeed. Told you I see you. Go. Good to see you. All the way in Croatia. In London, McLovin, I like that. The UK as well. Manifesting Annie. I love that. Great handle. Far out. That's all I got to say. I like that. I like that a lot. Deborah, how are you, my dear? Good to see you. Janie, good to see you as well. Man, I'll tell you what, kind of like a little homecoming here. Tori C, loves standing on the grass barefoot. Yeah. So I tell my wife that song, we're barefooting. Yeah. It is. It's that fine feeling. And there's always work to be done. Not boring at all. Anything but anyway. I love this group. Y'all are just far out. So the title of today is, oh crap. It's true. The government, I'm speaking of the United States government, believes they own our thoughts. Lot of weird stuff going on. I mean, and by the way, you can find everything that I am talking about just go in and to any search engine and put in Missouri versus Biden. And it's a case that's in the Fifth Circuit Court. And since the original filing of the suit, which I think it was Missouri, and then Missouri was joined with Texas and Louisiana, and now there is others that are coming, joining to the suit. And so this is where all of this came to light. And dusty out there, man. I got something in my eye right before we went live, and that was fun. So it's really important. And I think with this group, that we're aware of these things. You know, we're all human beings. I believe that each and every one of us are equal. We're all in here, in this realm. We're all experiencing the experience from our own perspectives. And I used to be heavily involved in politics, heavily. And all I can say is that what I saw in this power structure, I didn't want any part of it. I was right there. I mean, you know, talking to Congress people, senators, you know, state Supreme Court judges. I mean, had one of the pleasures and honor of being taught constitutional law. And by one of the, you know, U.S. attorney generals. But what I saw, it to me, I found that it was a fight of futility. You know, you got this side or that side. And, you know, it's the same coin. You know, you can have one side or the other, but it's still the same coin. And I didn't want to have any part of it. It just for me, and I guess it was part of this whole awakening process. Because when you begin to see that nothing really gets accomplished, it's two ideologies that are diametrically opposed to one another in the dynamics of the ideology. But in order for either ideology to exist, it has to have an opposing force. And yeah, I mean, they're in the same arena. And we're living in a time now. I mean, this group is probably one of the most gentlest. Everyone says it. It's a really interesting group you got here. You know, these people are really kind. Yeah, they are. And they're good people. They're smart, highly intelligent. They're free thinkers. I'm speaking of all of y'all. It's almost like I'm in an episode of Seinfeld. You know, I'm addressing myself in the camera, but speaking to a group that I can only see represented by a thing called chat, where they're typing, and that then connects into forming this reality. So, but y'all are a unique group. I have no doubt that we will be having a round table on the other side. No doubt about it at all. And we're seeing today that well, I had someone write yesterday, and go back and look at the comments from yesterday's show. And you have to have understanding, tolerance is one thing, but understanding allows you to have that other rare quality. It's patience. And the individual, I think it was Lit Path. I get it. But there is an individual who I have total respect for their beliefs. I was there one time. Get it. I'm not there today. And in spite of those who are trying to help me save my soul, don't worry about it. It's none of your business what I do and what I don't do. As to my soul, well, that could be debated. Now, am I an immortal being? Am I energy? Am I an atom? Because energy is perpetual. So that would make me more tangible to spirit. Now, as many of the great philosophers taught, that apparently we teach our souls, and that development continues up until the very moment that you cross over. That's if we really have a thing called a soul. It would appear in modern belief systems that we do. There are others who say we don't. What I do know is that I have consciousness. That I can definitively say yes. Now, if consciousness is divine by what? The capacity of a spirit to think? I give thanks to that which gave me consciousness. I don't know what that is. I don't know how to define it. I mean, define thought. But yet, as I'm constantly, and when I'm out there and I'm got the awareness going, and and it's doing a good clip on, and I'm just out there with my thoughts, and I realize that I touch something that is beyond description. I say it would exist all around, but it exists beyond that. I'm conscious of that. I don't see it as either any gender, any sex. In fact, I see it as something apart from that completely. I mean, is a thought female or is a thought male? How do you weigh that? Is it not thought? I mean, do we define where the thought is being generated, where it comes from? I mean, seriously, what? I mean, that's then saying, well, are there female spirits or male spirits? If you're into the paranormal and the ghost hunting type thing, it seems that there are male spirits and there seems to be female spirits. Not sure how that works, because I'm still trying to figure out, how does a spirit know where the floor is? And why would it matter? They say that the reason you don't see naked spirits is that because we carry over with this, the best way to describe it is what the Matrix did. Remember when Morpheus was telling Neo what, thought is? Really? What is thought? Well, thought would be generated by energy, right? I mean, there would have to be an exchange of energy. So is consciousness thought? Is thought consciousness? And is that consciousness housed in what we would call a spirit? Can energy really be defined in such a manner? Apparently it does. I mean, I don't know, interesting questions. I mean, yeah, we're in a realm where, think about it. You can tell if it's a female thought. You can tell if it's a male thought. That's pretty weird when you think about it. But hey, we're just sitting around the water cooler. As I look back at my corporate life, there was some. I really enjoyed the trip. It was really quite amazing. I never graduated from high school, but have been a successful CEO in a number of endeavors, and climbing up that ladder. I always was competing against those that had degrees. Well, the only way you can compete in that environment, you have to have a greater proportion of success. And that compensates for any degree. I mean, I think college would have been cool, I guess. I don't know. Missed all that. Missed the whole high school thing, in its essence. I mean, I was out on the street, man, having the time of my life, by the way. I wasn't bitching. It was tough. Nothing was certain. There was no safety net. State of Texas had abandoned me, emancipated me. What the hell? Emancipated a teenager. But anyway, when you get emancipated, you're free, right? For a teenager, I mean, that's like handing them the keys to a Ferrari and said, "Here, have a good time." Yeah, it's like, sure. But anyway, yeah. And I mention all that because that would not be possible today. Today, it is a different environment. As I look back, and as I was mentioning in the corporate life, it was a lot of fun. And as I look back on it, wasn't always, the unicorns and lollipops, but it taught me a lot. Taught a lot of you with your life experience, same way. And it brings us to here. Now, I said all that to frame this, that because there wasn't any government agency that gave a rat ass about me. It's like, well, hey, man, I mean, you dumped me out on in the Montrose area of all places. But I almost look at it as that was almost divine intervention. I mean, 15 in the middle of the counter revolution, and what I see happening today, I keep in balance to what happened 50 years ago. But nevertheless, it still shaped and framed me. And part of that is that because, there wasn't really much, what I would say, government control. I remember protesting Nixon. Kissinger came to Houston one time, was a part of that protest. Yeah, because we realized that we were attempting to be jacked by the man. Don't like that. So this is why what we're about to get into now, because it's all a continuous conversation, is it a male thought or a female thought? Well, I guess it would probably, but I don't know where the thought originated. So I don't know if I'm just merely mimicking another's thought that I'm thinking as my own thought, as my thought, it gets deep. But here's the thing. It's my thought. It's your thought. Nobody has any right to that thought. Hold that thought. I want to read this to you, and it gets really interesting. I'm not going to get into all the minutia of the politics of this case, but it is really something you really just take the time and see what I'm talking about. It's Missouri versus Biden. And the lawsuit was filed on May 5th, 2022. So this is what they found. On Wednesday, there was the person who's reporting on this story said that this was something that was recently found in the findings of the case. And obviously, this is when you have states battling the federal government. It's complicated and it's deep, and you find out that us commoners, we only speak a slang, that the true English language is legalese, because we're all dictated by it. But I want to go on with this, because this is what, all right, I'll just put it out there. Said the most shocking item discovered is that the Biden regime designates your thoughts, my thoughts, as part of the government infrastructure. They call it the cognitive infrastructure, and they believe that they have the right to control it. Wow. I don't get it. I mean, I really don't. It's as he goes back over here, it's like, geez, got myself lost in my own bus. What the hell happened there? Cognitive infrastructure. Holy crap. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I keep thinking to myself, all right, cognitive infrastructure. If I were to follow the logic on this, instead of going down the rabbit hole, I see a cabin made out of gingerbread. But we're going to follow the breadcrumbs anyway, right? So the ability of a human is based on your and my cognitive ability to A, think, to have rationality, to be able to weigh, to be able to make a decision based upon either observation or experience. These are cognitive abilities. Memory is a big one. Now, memory, because this is the land of legalese. So when it talks about cognitive infrastructure, holy crap. I mean, what it's saying is that you and I are nothing more than what? Feeders? Are they feeding off of us? I mean, when you have a faceless entity that declares that it owns your thought, your cognitive thought, and because the cognitive thought is built into the infrastructure of this entity. And I can't help but think, as above, so below as above. Because this is Orwellian crap. I mean, this is just nuts. And I tried to think of the individual or individuals that are the ones that are actually making policy here. You see, it's the unnamed, faceless bureaucrat that you have no idea. Have you ever read an actual bill that Congress has passed? That's the amazing thing. We say that we're intelligent and that we're aware, but the vast majority of people I know don't. We're supposed to have the right that, and both sides of the aisle have pushed this and agreed to it. It's never been followed through, that they would have to post whatever bill online so that we have 72 hours to examine it. I remember when the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform Act of 2010 was signed into law. I read all 3,000 pages of that bill because I was heavily involved in payment. I was heavily involved in working within that infrastructure. There we go. And so, yeah, I also read the Health Reform Act. That was an eye-opener. And I think the reason why most people don't is that because most people don't really get legalese. I get it. When when you're involved in litigation, you quickly find out that there's two different languages. As I said before, legalese looks at commoners' English as slang because it is slang. I can say, let's find out something. Mrs. C, I can say, I love Mrs. C. She's just fantastic. I love my wife, and love my dog. And I really love ice cream. Really love chocolate. I speak in those generalities. Great ambiguity within what my words are saying. And I'm depending on you, the listener, to A, comprehend, B, interpret what I just said. And you have to have the ability to understand I spoke about 5 different types of love. It's messed up, man. That's all I got to say. It's messed up. Someone says Blake Law's dictionary is what they use. Yeah. Every attorney has that. And, and if you're in a courtroom, it's quite interesting who's allowed past the bar. Oh, it's a whole, that's why I know the occult is real. Because if you look within the structures of even how courts rule, in fact, our courts go back to some debate, say, to Moses, read the book of Exodus. Some say that it's even older than that. Goes all the way back to Sumerian societal cultures. But yeah, there's a whole structure there. Power. It's what it is. It's power. My family was in law enforcement, and I've known a lot of men and women in law enforcement. And it's really interesting because I always tell them, I said, isn't it amazing the power that that badge holds? I mean, that badge, it's amazing. It'll stop traffic, you know, stop individuals. It's like, okay, that's some occultish stuff, man. I want to tell you what, if you had that kind of endued power, right? You could have your own shield. That's what I'm talking about. Blazing River, that's just funny as all get out. I have to read this, folks. He says, how could a well-traveled person such as Moses get lost for 40 years? I mean, it's the one thing you learn throughout this is that you begin to go, now, wait a minute. I'm assuming that there was a person called Moses. I mean, haven't seen his body. No one knows where the body is. No one alive was alive to see if this cat really lived. Not saying he not saying he didn't. We got no proof either way. Oh, we got ancient texts. Well, yeah, but guess what? The name Moses wasn't in the Sumerian tablets or any of the cylinders. Oh, yeah. Well, because, let's see. If it wasn't for the Sumerians, then Moses wouldn't. And the thing about the book we're reading on Yahweh, it's quite interesting, folks. And we're going to get back to this whole government thing. That the magic that Moshe, the Magi, what he was doing. I mean, it's not what we were told, just like this, that you got this bureaucracy who says they own our thoughts. They say they own our ability to make a decision. That's some powerful magic, folks. I know how this can be countered, because you see, the thing about it is that what's going on here? It's getting so bad that, and you can see this out on any of the mainstream media, is that you've got the attack on religion. Now, I'm no Christian. If someone doesn't know that, well, welcome to the channel. Check it out. I don't even like Christianity. I don't like any religion. For me, I find religion to be too constricting. It doesn't, it's not a, how you can get dress shirts, back in the day, I really enjoyed, I had tailor-made dress shirts, because, you want it to fit your body where it's comfortable, where you have the ability to move. You know what I'm saying? And I have found all religions to be like a straitjacket. It's how it feels. It's like, man, no. So, and this kind of stuff. I mean, when you begin to use something, the world fought fascism almost 100 years ago, when all that madness began to start. And here, it seems like, to me, seems like the damn cycle is repeating itself. Because when you start classifying people into a category that is categorically wrong, and it is, well, that's where things begin to get, how shall we say, liquid. It's wishy-washy. It's not supposed to be like that. I mean, I don't find Christians to be a threat to national security. I don't care what religion you believe in. And if you don't believe in religion at all, that's cool. But you have to have the respect and the understanding and the tolerance to allow whatever your bag is, man. It's a great thing on Firesign Theater in one of their skits. And it's about the future where everybody is groovy, man. I mean, everybody got their hit of acid, and you can take it and you get a trip, baby, because it's your trip, baby. And we're going to make sure that you have the best trip of all your trips. And so you're into the land where everything is groovy and everything is wavy. And you have to be cool, man. And there's two cops. They're groovy cops. And groovy cops are groovy cops, man. And then they see this older woman, grandma, and she looks straight. Well, they pull the car over and they said, "Come here, baby. Come here, chick. Come on. It's all right, grandma. It's cool." And the whole thing is, they said, "Well, what are you holding?" And she says, "Reefer? Come on, grandma. What are you really holding?" And it says, you're not being groovy. And yeah, it's satirical, but it's funny as all get out. That's how I feel. That's why I don't like religion. I think that there has to be, foundational aspects of what is agreed to be truths into a sense of where a society can function together. Part of that is it's your thing, it's your bag, that's cool, and if it's not my part of my bag, well, then that's cool too. But I ain't going to classify you. I mean, I'm not going to say that I own your thoughts. What kind of shit is that, man? I can tell you what, they couldn't handle my thoughts. They get inside my consciousness. Oh man, there are places there, unless you've experienced what it is to trip. And I'm talking about tripping into a place that ain't like this place. You wouldn't be able to handle it. I mean, they'd be running out just completely in red, blue, just kind of just undulating with, paisleys, just, yeah, they'd be freaking out. Deborah says, "Don't put me in a box and don't interfere with my path." There you go. Yeah. Yeah. And it's true. We got to stop this madness. I was going to be reading more of 1984. I mean, if you read that book, I mean, we're living it. We are living it. Part of this as well, we found out that the thought police, this ain't Hollywood shit anymore, man. They're actually looking at ways to enhance this. As I said, I don't understand that mentality. I mean, what kind of brain, what kind of mind, what kind of soul thinks like that? Didn't we learn anything from 100 years ago? A conflict that they say that took out, they estimate in some circles, 100 million people. I mean, that's a lot of souls. I just, I almost like I don't get it. Nuts. And so what's the answer? What can we do to get this? Well, we can't have another Woodstock. Don't know if it would even work. Seriously, I don't know if it'd even work. But one of the things that I was thinking about, because, all right, so it's messed up, right? It's messed up. This shouldn't be happening. There's no love in this, man. I mean, I got to tell you what, I just ain't feeling the love in any of this. I mean, on that meter, yeah, this is one of those things, back in the day, and I don't know how many of you were in the corporate world, but when you had to do the yearly reviews and, so you go in there and of course, you're being, basically the whole examination of what your career is, and you always get the things on which you have to work on. Yeah, well, in this case, we need to bring the love meter way up because right now it's way down and it's bringing everything else down, man. And downers are not cool. I mean, don't be a downer. No one likes to be around a downer. No, we like uppers. Yeah. Yeah, baby. We like the uppers. Uh-huh. Why? Because the uppers make you feel better, make you feel good, make you love everybody. You understand? So I'm just saying we got to bring that love meter up because this kind of shit ain't work. I mean, to start using the word Nazis, I mean, come on. I mean, that's offensive, number one. There was nothing that you can attribute as a positive attribute of that. No, man, we're all human beings. We're all in this crazy, messed up, what they call and they tell us is reality. And it's weird enough as it is, but now you're going to be adding this kind of stuff. I mean, this is tyranny is what we're talking about. This is tyrannical. This is authoritarian ism in steroids. And you got to think about people. Why did they do this? I've known a number of people who have come into positions of power, and you can come in positions of power in many different ways. They couldn't handle it. This cat, Lit Path, wrote, he said, well, you just don't understand God. God has every right to be jealous because he says, and he tried to give the example of a human, that if you were betrayed in a personal relationship. And I wrote back to him, go back and check those comments. I said, wait a minute. Why are you justifying the acts of a murderous demigod? Listen, we've all had our hearts broken, but we didn't go out and start killing people. How can you justify that as intelligence? But there was a time when I did. I actually had so indoctrinated that it's like, well, screw them. Sucks to be them. They should have listened. They should have obeyed. But nope. They wanted to be rebels. So, hey, they got God pissed off at them. And look what happened. He killed them. And that's perfectly fine with me. After all, Paul wrote in the book of Romans 4, he said to obey the government. Odd how Paul was also never said anything about slavery, did he? I often wonder about that. So this is the cat that's inventing this God of love. And slavery was rampant. I mean, it was the Roman Empire, hell, the Grecian Empire. I mean, you can all go back to Alexandria. But you look at this and you're going, but wait a minute. You know what he tells slaves? You obey your masters because there's a reward for you in heaven. I don't know. For me, if I read that, and I happen to be a slave, I'd be saying, well, screw you. Yeah, you can write this shit because you're a free man. You're a Roman citizen. Why, of course it's easy for you to write. No. What I want is I want that freedom now. I mean, I can't spend the shit over there on the other side. Can only do it here. These conundrums. Worse to do equals overthink. Oh, yeah. Wasn't Paul really Saul after all? Yeah, well, he had, his family was rich enough. I mean, this is what gets me. So he comes from a family that's providing the Roman legions all of the camps, all the tents, everything else. I mean, they had slaves all over the Middle East, and it was hard work, tanning those hides, et cetera, et cetera. And then what really gets me, and since we're on the subject, it's the 29th chapter of the book of Acts. Now, someone will probably hear and try to correct me and say, no, there's only 28. No, that's because you're reading the authorized version. Yeah. Who the hell gave them the authority to make it the authorized version? But no. So in the 29th chapter of the book of Acts, the story goes that we follow Paul, and in this story, he is leaving Rome, but comes upon Pontius Pilate, and he murders Pontius Pilate, kills him. And then Paul goes up into the what we would call Germania, the southern part. Apparently, bought himself a vineyard and died a very rich life. Not nearly as dramatic as with the story they tried to tell you, but anyway, I digress. It's interesting, they say that us as a species, that we're only happy when things are hard. Every time that our technology, our brains, where we start having the machines do our work for us, it gives us more leisure time. And that is always a bad thing, they say. It always ends up bad for humanity. We end up collapsing ourselves. I get the song, I got too much time on my hands. Yeah, just saying. I just saw someone in the chat room, and that was interesting. But yeah. It's interesting, but isn't that odd though about us? So here we're facing this return. I don't know what the hell to call it. I don't know if it's socialism. I don't know if it's fascism. I don't know what ism it is, but I don't like it. It's like this, they say that conservatives are classified in this group of Nazis, and I'm going, what? Here's some common sense, Congress and Biden. Quit spending and cashing checks that your ass can't cash. We're broke. And unless you're not planning on paying this money back, which is problematic, because if that's the plan, why don't you let us in on it? But more importantly, hey, balance the checkbook. We can't do it as individual citizens. If we did what our government is doing, our ass would be in jail. So be mature, be adults, responsible. You're supposed to be stewards. And stop all this Orwellian crap. I mean, it's getting out of control. You don't own my thoughts. You don't want to own my thoughts. I'll take you down rabbit holes that, again, you wished you never began to go down. I can introduce you to, well, I wouldn't call them friends, associates. They exist interdimensionally. It's really weird. Yeah. They appear throughout my life, these same three individuals. It's weird. All right. Jules says, I have some spicy thoughts. I can see that, Jules. You spicy. Hot. Yeah. This cracks me up. I mean, so here's my solution as we head off a Memorial Day weekend here in the United States, giving honor and respect for the men and women who paid the ultimate price for the freedoms that we enjoy here. You know, you could call Memorial Day the Day of the Dead for those who gave their lives for the service of this country. You know, that's just, it's the right thing to do. So, think about that. We have the gifts of being in a time of, yeah, it's a great shaking, but it's also a great reassuring. And my solution is, I think that, we ought to do this as a group project, is to basically have three individuals who be the recipients of the focus. And that focus would be, this is something I think Max Vision would be really good to look towards, and begin to see if we can really pierce that veil and really see who is the puppet master. Is it one? Is this a troupe? I don't know. But I do know this. Well, and here's the thing, it'd have to be discussed, because there's no doubt that there is a powerful, powerful energy. And it's been there a long time. I don't like what it's manifesting. I think it's wrong. I think there are better alternatives, because this one, nobody wins. I mean, and that sucks, particularly when there can be a win-win for everybody. It's just the way things work. So it would be interesting to really just simply focus in on one thing and see if we can actually see who is really behind the curtain. And you think about it, we would send the designees thought energy. Obviously, if you have a particular bureaucrat who thinks that the government can own our cognitive infrastructure, well, that just gave me the clue right there. We can build our own infrastructure, right? I mean, if they think one exists, all right, I can dig that. I can adapt to it too. There's enough psychics here, enough gifted men and women, that we can do this. Think about it. As he looks over the clock, but it'd be really interesting to see what the results would be. I mean, that's what they're doing. They're channeling our thoughts. Every time you watch television and the news and what have you, you're being channeled. Well, son of a bitch. Now, wouldn't that happen? But Chris says, illusion, confusion, delusion, need a permit for that way. Exactly. They're like, man, where's your papers? Well, And then, you know, my campaign is to legalize common sense because it seems to be outlawed today. It just, I don't know what the hell happened there. It's like, what? Anyway, uh, much love to all of y'all. I think I may try to be on Monday. I don't know. Yeah. But if you're here in the United States, enjoy the holiday weekend. Everybody else in the other parts of the world, thank you. Enjoy the weekend as well, how you spend your Saturday and Sunday. Hope it's good. Thank you for your warm thoughts and the love and the kindness that you show. It's just, it's a good place. It's good water, Jenny. This is living water. This group generates living water. It's a water that exists in the ethereal and exists here as well. So we need to dip our cup in and let us all take a good long drink, rejuvenate that love, baby. Yeah, y'all be looking good. That's what I'm saying. All right. Till we meet again, Pingreedy, you are welcome. Smile, laugh, share the love, and think about this. If you'd like to be a part of this, it would be interesting. I have to talk with Max on this because we need someone that could help, where that could be actually who's well versed in that. So anyway, that is this. Ruby, how you doing, darling? Just now saw you. And welcome all the rest of you. Coke Queen, what's going? All right. Much love to y'all. You beautiful people. Make me